Every golfer on the planet wants to hit that beautiful, tight, compressed draw. Now, if you look back through time, the way that it was taught was to get you swinging big time in to out, kind of like hitting a forehand in tennis. But this is really inconsistent. So I'm going to show you the new technique that gives you that beautiful compression, that tight draw, and it's so much easier to do. In order to do that, I've recruited Trevor Salzman. Thank you so much for coming on the travel, my man.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
To start with, let's just explain this inside-out method, how you used to use it yourself, and why you moved away from it.
So when I look at one of the first things that I think is taught to a lot of us, and it was definitely taught to me, is my first goal that was given to me was I need to get the golf club moving in to out, or I needed to get the swing direction moving far out to the right. The next piece of it was then I needed to make the ball curve back, and so that was my question. I said, well, what do I do to get the ball to curve back once I'm swinging way out here to the right? And the answer that I got was twisting and closing the face. So what that left me with, if I demonstrate this here, this left me with aiming right, trying to come way from the inside, and hitting giant hooks like that.
And one of the things hopefully you could hear on the mics was that the contact was super thin. So you can see there's no divot after the ball. And that's obviously not what we want. Now we understand that we don't want to do an inside to out pattern and swing big time there. Let's now dive into the correct new method.
So when we start with this, I think we would all agree that golf is a circular motion. So with golf being a circular motion, all circles have centers. So I would define the center of the golf swing as the left shoulder, and we could also call that low point.
Now, if I bring this pool noodle in, this is going to represent the arc of our swing, like the circle Trevor just said. So conventionally it would be up this way, but because we swing it at roughly, let's say a 45-degree angle, you're going to see this pool noodle is tilted. So Trevor, when we look at where the club head is right there, where is the arc actually pointing?
So when we look at this, if I take the alignment stick, when the golf club and my left arm are in line with what we call the center or low point, we can see how that 90-degree angle off of the shaft would be pointed straight at the target. If I take my lead arm and the shaft and I move this back on the arc, you'll now see this line right here that I have, a 90-degree angle to the shaft, is now projected to the right. So this noodle that Giles has down on the ground would be projecting that by the time I get to here in my motion, that is going to project a path that is going to be moving more in to out.
So the crazy thing is here, you're swinging the club head at the point of contact to the right, but your actual overall swing, because it obviously arcs back, is pointing straight at the target.
Exactly.
So that's the first method of explaining this, but we can explain it another way. And I know different methods are going to sort of resonate with different people. So let's go into the second way of explaining this.
So as we start to go into this, the more that we move the ball back in the stance, that is going to be our foundation for hitting down on the golf ball, which would be our downward attack angle, which also produces our path that moves out to the right. So when we look at this, if I moved the golf ball right here, 3 balls behind the center, and I projected that onto the ground, if I moved this 3 golf balls behind the center right here, and what that would look like from up here, so 3 golf balls behind low point, and I brought this down right here, and I projected this to where my left arm is straight with the shaft, and I project that onto the ground, that is going to build an angle in right there. So that is going to be our angle. We draw a 90-degree angle off of that. That is going to be our downward strike and our rightward path by moving this, moving the lead arm and the shaft behind what we would call the low point.
So by keeping the left arm and the shaft in one straight line, number one, that's great for consistency.
Absolutely.
And number two, that also, as you can see, it naturally allows you to have this club path going to the right.
Right.
But the thing I love about this alignment stick here is it gives you probably a visual as you look down for where the shaft and the club should be.
Absolutely. It gives me a visual reference of having the grip handle right there in front of the club head that helps us to project our downward strike right there.
Now, as you guys can probably see, I've got this weird looking gizmo in my hand. It's a magnet with a little pointer on it. Trevor, why is this important and how's it going to help us?
So here's what's neat about this. So when we talk about designing a draw. So a draw for a right-handed player is going to curve left. We don't want to start it straight and curve it left.
No, we don't.
We don't want to start it left and curve it left. We want to start it to the right and curve it left. So here would be my relationship for this. So if I put this magnet right here on the club face, and I held this right here and I set this up on low point, that would be pointed at the target. So as I take this now and I angle this 3 golf balls behind the low point, we can now see that the golf club is pointed to the right.
So without any manipulation, just by simply moving the club back from here to here, that face is now pointing to the right.
That face would now be pointed to the right.
And why is that important?
Because the face is what controls our starting direction.
And for a draw, obviously that needs to be
to the right.
To the right.
Okay? The cool piece that we can do inside of this is if we take, like what I showed right here, is if we take a 90-degree angle off of the shaft, as we angle that back, we can now see how that would be our projected path. So from right in here, what I can do is I can slightly close the face to the shaft. So that is going to be presenting a draw pattern right there. Now from here, I can take that draw that I have built in, and I can angle that 3 golf balls back to where now the club face is closed to the shaft or closed to the path, but it is open to the target line.
So one question I have, and I'm sure you guys at home are going to have it, is when you set up there and you talk about just twisting the face, are you twisting the grip first and then re-gripping it, or are you twisting it with your hands on the club?
That right there, I think, is the most important thing that we're going to cover on this video here today. So I think the first place that we go is we would close the face. So like if I set this down right here, I would be closing the face just minutely to the leading edge of the shaft, gripping it. And then from there, I'm going to angle that 3 golf balls back to where I have a club face that is right of my target, but it is closed to the shaft, which is our path.
So I guess you could also close it up here.
Absolutely.
Now, in terms of then hitting a golf shot, are you trying to manipulate anything? Are you trying to flip your hands through the strike, or is everything built in at address?
This is what I would say. This is building in and presetting the shot that I want to hit as the player, because now I have an expectation of what this golf ball is going to do based on the design that I've built the shot. So if the golf ball does what it's supposed to do, I know that my golf swing was pretty good there.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, it allows me to problem solve this a heck of a lot easier.
Are there any other swing thoughts that you're having to help promote this impact position? Are you thinking of bringing the hands back to the same spot? Is there any sort of little trigger you could give some of the viewers at home just to help them repeat this impact?
Yeah, so I would say right here is what I'm feeling at setup is what I'm trying to bring back to impact.
With maybe just a tiny bit more rotation of the hips.
Yep, there will be a little bit more rotation. Exactly, there'd be a little bit more of a rotation component and a forward component, but I would say basically if I take what I'm presenting with the golf club, I'm trying to bring that back to the same place roughly that I started, and allowing my forward pressure and my rotation to also help me move the low point forward.
So now we're going to get Trevor to hit a couple of golf shots, but also just to experiment, to show you, look, if you really push that ball back or if you bring it forwards, how it changes the ball flight. And again, this is only setup adjustments that we're making. So Trevor, over to you.
So when we look at this, I think the first shot right here that we're going to start with is going to be our stock shot. So I would say my stock draw that I typically hit is I would come in here and I would take the left arm and the shaft, and I would set that down in line with the shoulder, because now from here I can go 1, 2, 3 golf balls behind the center, and that's what's angling the lead arm and the shaft off of the center. That would be my draw, and then I could have the club face, again right here, a little bit closed to the shaft, so I can see this when I have this set up. The club face is closed to the shaft, which is my built-in draw, and from here I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 golf balls behind center. Now from here I can see with our target line that we've set up that this golf ball is projected to start right, but I can see the built-in draw inside of this. So when I set up to here and I just make my neutral golf swing, this golf ball is going to start out to the right and curve to the left.
And as we can see, it's done that perfectly right there. Now, one really interesting point you said is you can see it's going to start to the right and draw back. Just say specifically what it is you mean by that.
Okay, so by me, I'm building in the draw to begin with. So when I take the club face and I close it to the leading edge of the shaft, I can see the angle difference between the score line of the golf club and the leading edge of the shaft. I can see that would be my draw right there. Now, as I take that and I project that 3 golf balls behind the low point, I can now see where this club face would be projected to start that golf ball. So now I know that this ball is going to start right. And I know when I bring this back into center, I can see that this is close to the shaft, which would be producing our draw. Okay? So I think that's a really important skill because I know now what shot I'm set up to hit, and I can just make my natural golf swing versus trying to do what I used to do, which was come way from the inside, swing way out to the right, struggling with low point back issues, thin shots, hooks, and blocks.
Yes, yeah, of course. And one of the nice things about this is you can see when Trevor's hit this, he's got a beautiful sized divot, and everything is just gonna have that solid squeeze on the golf ball. When you're doing those rehearsal swings of dropping the club under, it just looks impossible to get that same effect, that same strike.
Yeah, I just don't know how to help somebody project or predict what the golf ball is going to do from here other than probably start that way. So here's what's fun is like we can now take this, we'll call this a system right here. We could take this system and we can see how if I needed a golf ball to start further out to the right and still draw, I could move the ball position further back in my stance, which is now going to project more of a rightward swing right there. So a 90-degree angle off of that is if this right here is the center, I still close the club face to the shaft and I bring the ball all the way back to here. Now you can see as I'm starting to come down right there, you see where that would be?
Yeah.
That club face would be projected to swing before it returns to 0.
Starting to come back right there. Definitely started a lot further to the right. And that goes to show that really it's the same swing,
Yep.
it's just a different setup.
Exactly.
So now we've gotten rid of all the alignment mistakes. I want Trevor to show us sort of a good routine you can do out on the golf course. So Trevor, over to you.
So here's where I would start in presenting and building something like this. So I would come in here. The first thing I would do is if I held the lead arm, my left arm in the golf club in a straight line off of the shoulder, which we would call low point right here. I would take that, I would close the face a few degrees to the shaft, so that would be our negative face to path relationship or our closed face to path relationship. And from here I would go 1, 2, 3 to where I can see that the grip is in front of the club head, but this is sitting in a straight line with my left arm in the shaft. So from there now, inside of my neutral setup, I can see that the club face is open to the target, closed to the shaft, and I'm now in a position just to make my normal golf swing, and this ball is going to start right and draw.
Hopefully you've enjoyed that video. Trevor, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you.
And spreading your knowledge with all of us. How can everybody find you?
So on YouTube, TS Golf. I've got an Instagram channel. I have my own website, trevorsalzmangolf.com. I coach online on Skillist. Would love to see you there.
I'll catch you guys in the next one.